Clarity on Fire, a podcast for people who know what they don't want out of their life and career, but aren't sure what they'd rather be doing.
In a world where it's easy to exist, but hard to feel alive, we, Kristen
and Rachel,
2 certified life and career coaches, are here to help you cut through the information overload, get unstuck, and focus not just on how you can have a career you're passionate about, but how to create a whole life that feels fulfilling.
So join us here, where we serve up inspiration and down-to-earth wisdom in a way that only 2 best friends can.
We want you to experience the relief of knowing that, yes, you're allowed to want more out of your life and career.
And no, you don't have to wander through the dark anymore. Our job is to light the fire that shows you the way. Let's go. Do you like my sound effect?
She came in our little podcasting room here all excited, like, oh, I have this special thing. And I was like, oh, it's a Magic 8 Ball sound, right? And she was like, yes.
It's just literally water in a glass jar. Does it actually sound like what it would sound like if you would shake up a Magic 8 Ball?
We're going to have to listen back.
Something similar to it.
And see what it sounds like on the recording.
That's the best I could do in the times we're living in right now. I probably could have ordered a Magic 8 Ball on Amazon, but it seems silly to order anything that some person has to be in a warehouse packing up at this time that I don't need.
That's not a crucial thing right now.
I don't need it. So we can just use my
makeshift,
my little makeshift water jar here. Hi, this is a Magic 8 Ball episode where we revisit something from the past 2+ years of, well, publishing the podcast or our blog, which is interesting because this
one was actually pre-podcast. Barely. I mean, maybe 2 weeks. Maybe a month before.
Barely made the cutoff.
Barely missed it. So we're bringing it back because it never got to be on the podcast.
Well, I don't know. I was like looking for an old episode and I found this and I was like, why isn't this on the podcast? And I sent it to you and said, we're doing this for your next Magic 8 Ball episode.
I've thought about this one for a little while and I keep choosing other ones, but I like this one and it keeps coming back up. So yes, it's time.
Well, so if you guys got, this is such a great tie-in. I'm so proud of what I'm about to say. If you guys got our text yesterday, if you didn't, stay tuned. I'll tell you how to get them. If you got our text yesterday, you saw, wait, no, it wasn't the one from yesterday. It was the one from, it's the one that's going to come. Haha. No, wait, did it already happen? I don't know what day it is.
Quarantine life, you guys. It's all blending together.
No. It was one from Friday. So still, it happened already in the past. We're good. I'm not cutting any of this out. If you got the one on Friday, you got a permission slip to not make any big decisions right now, which I think is crucial. One of my clients, you know who you are, much love to you. She emailed me like, I think that I need to like totally change tracks in my business right now. I was like, tell me
now?
more. I said, tell me more about that. And she's like, well, I'm freaking out about money and my partner might lose his job. And I think it might be easier to sell this other thing. And I'm freaking out and I'm uncertain. And I was like, doesn't sound like the best time to like, is your motivation actually good? Is it coming from a good place? Clearly not. It's coming from a fearful place, understandably, given what's going on. Therefore, not a great time to make any big life decisions.
Well, because right now, any decision that you make is going to be in reaction to...
Yes, very likely.
...a crazy crisis that we're all going through that you may not have made otherwise. Yes. Now, I'm not saying like... Some people do need to revamp right now.
Well, and sometimes you're being forced into a decision right now.
Be resourceful and figure that out. But don't push extra decisions on yourself that you don't need right now. It's too much.
If you can avoid it right now, please don't make any decisions right now. So I tied that in because this Magic 8 Ball is about questions to ask yourself before you say yes to anything, which I think is relevant right now.
To do some inventory, to take some stock of, okay, what has been working that I haven't really had maybe time to process because I've been so busy in my normal life. And now this just shook everything up and I've got some time to think about other possibilities, but you don't have to decide anything right now. So this blog today is 7 questions to ask yourself before saying yes to anything, especially for those of you who are those instant yes people. Someone will ask, hey, can you do this for me? Or hey, can you help out? And you're like, yeah, sure. This is for you to take a pause. Before you determine what you're going to commit to, which I think is a good time. We're all in a collective pause.
Yeah, it's just good discernment practice. And everyone needs better discernment for the most part.
So this is relevant all the time, but I think now people are questioning a lot more. And so this is hopefully going to help you come to some clearer answers for when it is time to make some changes.
Before we do that, if you want text from us, they do come twice a week.
Like that one Rachel just described from this past Friday. If you're missing out on texts, you don't have to.
I sent a particularly good one yesterday, by the way. I do remember what it was now. But you're missing out if you're not getting our texts. So if you want them, you can either go to the episode notes and click the link and just sign up real quick, or you can text 703-783-3223.
But make sure that you do it in this particular order. When you text that number, you text your name and then a space and then your email address. That's it.
And then you'll know you did it right because you'll get a response, an automated response from us.
Exactly. Okay. And that's how we know who you are. That's how we make sure you get texts. So we hope some of you will do that.
Okay, so let's hear this, and then we will be back at the end with some recommended listening.
7 questions to ask yourself before saying yes to anything. As an introvert who's also a recovering people pleaser, it still gives me a small thrill of rebelliousness to say no to things. That's probably because in years past, I used to be a total yes girl. Before I'd fully accepted my more introverted nature, meaning that I need a lot of downtime and spaciousness and I quickly get overwhelmed with too many plans, I was always overcommitting myself. And before I'd gotten my people-pleasing ways mostly in check, my fear of disappointing people was intense. So without thinking, I'd automatically say yes to work projects, social invitations, favors, and requests of all kinds. Cue the burnout and resentment. Now I'm much more selective about what I say yes to. And to make sure I don't slip back into bad old habits, I've come up with 7 questions to ask myself before saying yes to anything to make sure I'm doing it for the right reasons. Number 1. Does this align with my values? Before you can answer this question, you first, of course, have to identify some of your top values. For example, some of mine are freedom, simplicity, connectedness, ease, and health and wellness. Anything that runs counter to my top values is an automatic no. If you're having trouble figuring out what your values are, a good place to start is to look back at your passion profile quiz result, or retake the quiz if you didn't save the PDF. On page 3, there's a section called Things You're Attracted to. That's essentially a list of values. It'll give you a good list to start with, and you can always edit and add to it as you go. Number 2, what does my gut say? Every single one of us has an intuitive voice that's constantly communicating with us, trying to lead us in the right direction. The trouble is that most of us ignore or disregard our gut feelings in favor of logic and practicality. Your intuition, though, is far wiser than your mind because it's picking up on all kinds of subtle clues that you're not even consciously aware of. So when you get a strong gut feeling that something is right or very, very wrong, do yourself a favor and listen. If you're baffled as to how to start listening to your intuition, start by paying closer attention to your body and the way it responds to people, environments, and invitations. There's a reason they call intuitive hits gut feelings, because a lot of people experience an actual physical sensation, a sense of knowing or attraction or repulsion in their gut. So when you're considering saying yes to something, check in with your intuition. Does the prospect of doing this thing feel light and airy and exciting, or like a heavy brick in your stomach? Your gut will never steer you wrong. Number 3, what's my intention for saying yes or no to this? Intentions tend to come from one of 2 places, genuine or fear-based. A genuine intention is one that's based in positivity and authenticity. Once a year or so, I like to spend a weekend volunteering to help out with a new group of students going through the coach training program that I graduated from. My intention for that is genuine, to connect with a room full of new coaches and refresh some of my own coaching skills along the way. I always look forward to those weekends. A fear-based intention feels very different. It looks more like, I took on a new project at work because I don't want to seem lazy. Or I RSVP'd yes to an out-of-town baby shower because I'd feel guilty saying no. Or I don't have energy for this event, but my FOMO is strong. It's trying to avoid a bad outcome instead of pursuing a good one. Bottom line, make sure your intention is good, not fear-based, before saying yes to anything. Number 4, what's the opportunity here? When you're considering saying yes to an event, a project, a new job, etc., it's easy to get bogged down by all the logistics and effort it'll take to make it happen. The overwhelm or fear of change might be enough for you to shut down a potentially great option prematurely. So it helps to shift your perspective to look for the opportunity. Will this event give you the opportunity to connect with like-minded people? Will this project allow you to learn something new? Will this job open you up to more growth potential? Looking for the opportunity in this situation can help connect you to the deeper reason why you want to say yes to this. On the flip side, if you're struggling to come up with a good answer to this question, that might be a sign there's just not a whole lot of opportunity here and it's just not worth it. Number 5, is this a 9 or 10? Anytime you're considering saying yes to anything, I want you to pause and rank the opportunity on a scale of 1 to 10. On this scale, a 1 is a hard no, as in I have zero interest in this. And 10 is a hell yes, as in this sounds amazing and totally up my alley. Now comes the part that's easy to say and hard to do. I want you to only say yes to the 9s and 10s. Most people settle for the 7s and 8s in life and then wonder why they feel less than satisfied. It takes a lot of courage to say no to a 7 or 8 opportunity, one that's good and has more pros than cons, but somehow just doesn't quite feel right. The fearful part of your brain will start to freak out and think, what if this is the best I can hope for? I'll tell you though, the people who push past that fear and hold out for the 9s and 10s, their lives are anything but ordinary. Number 6, what would I do if I knew that no one would be disappointed either way? Okay, honesty time. How many times have you said yes to something because you didn't want to disappoint a friend, a colleague, a family member, and then kicked yourself later because you really didn't have the time or energy or desire for it? It seems like avoiding disappointing others at all costs is the kind of thing to do, but you can quickly end up being unkind to yourself. Saying yes to everything because you're afraid of hurting someone's feelings is a fast road to burnout and resentment. And it's actually counterproductive to maintaining healthy relationships because resentment only ever makes you feel less connected to the people in your life. The best way to get clear on what you really want, regardless of other people's reactions, is to imagine what you would do if no one ever found out what decision you made. If you could choose in total secrecy, what would you do? Number 7, how much time and energy will this require? And is it worth that expense? Sometimes you would absolutely love to say yes to something for all the right reasons, but doing so would mean seriously overcommitting yourself. So once you've checked in with your values, your intentions, and all the other internal factors, you've got to ask yourself, is this the right time for me to do this? Do I have the time and the energy to devote to this right now? For example, Rachel and I have thought many times about writing a book. As someone who's dreamed of being published since I was 5, I really want to do this. But writing, editing, publishing, and promoting a book is a huge effort. And so far, it hasn't been enough of a priority to warrant that much time and energy. At some point, though, I'm sure that will change. And then my not now will become a big, fat yes. Okay, so how does this apply to you? I want to hear your thoughts. How is this relevant for you right now? What's something you're debating about saying yes to? And how do you feel after considering your answers to these questions? Do you have any questions you want to add to this list? Share with me in the comments.
Okay, if you like this subject, You want more where this came from? Kristen compiled a few recommendations. So one is scroll your little thumb back to October of 2019. How to get out of analysis paralysis. Is that a blog?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think so.
I think it is. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Find it. October 2019.
And similar, when is it worth getting out of your comfort zone? That was from September of 2018. A little bit of a throwback there.
I think I know it's a blog because I always write blog, and you never do. And so that's what, yeah, there we go. We need to get in uniform around our
Feels weird to have blog
structuring.
I don't know. I don't love it, but I understand.
But that's what it is. It's accurate. Okay. This is like the really stunning communication you usually hear behind the scenes. You're getting a front row seat too. Side chat, honing your intuition and knowing when it's really fear from June 2019. That one is a real classic.
That one shows up a lot.
Yeah.
In recommended listening. And then again from May 2019.
Kristen has a typo and it says Mary 2019.
I don't know who Mary is.
It's from May 2019.
And it's about how to know when it's time to quit a job or anything else. So this is about when to say no. This blog was about when to say yes, and that's about when to say goodbye.
To GTFO. I wrote that one.
Yep.
Okay. So we will be back on Friday with a big announcement in the lead up to the episode. Well, like in the beginning of the episode.
A big announcement and then a side chat.
Yeah, a side chat about, I feel like we glossed over the announcement part.
Well, I don't want to give them too much. You could tease it a little.
Yeah, we're going to be giving people a chance to work with us in a way that's much more inexpensive given what's going on right now.
We're doing kind of like a
couple ways, actually.
COVID response.
God, but we're not giving you an email like all the other, like the shoe brand that sent you an email about COVID. I'm like, great. I get thanks.
I know.
Anyway, so we will be back on Friday for that and the side chat, which is going to be about, this is such a good topic. And you'll hear me having a full scale kind of like just spiral in the middle of it. Not like
you're just
anxiety spiral, but just confusion spiral.
I feel like you're coaching yourself and I'm coaching you kind of in the middle.
Yeah, if you really want to see the inner workings of my mind, come back on Friday for our episode about, are you copping out or should you let yourself off the hook? And how the heck do you decide which one you're doing?
It's messier than any of us want to believe, but we're trying to give you a little bit of guidance. You know what?
By the end, I came up with a very, very clear answer for all of us on this.
It came to like a formula, not as best you can in something like that.
It was great. I highly recommend it. Come back on Friday for that.
Bye.